All right, man, it's Monday night, and y'all know what time it is. It is another episode of the Reentry Journey, and it's a blackout. That's what it looks like because I disappeared, but I should be coming back here soon with a whole new background. Look like some technical difficulties, but it's all right. That's how we're going to start it because it's Monday. But this is the Reentry Journey, and my guest tonight is a Miss Princess Brownfield. Just to talk about a little bit about what Princess is doing. I'm gonna get into that, then I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself and tell her story and everything that she has going on. She got a program and called the Crown Elevate Project LLC. What this is Crown Elevate Project is a health coaching program dedicated to using real-time interactions and supporting the health and well-being of all gender identifying women who have had trauma, encounters with the justice system, reentry society, re-entering society, and overcoming life's trauma. It is a response to an overlooked demographic that needs wellness support after their experiences. So I bring to y'all to the floor tonight to take over the podcast, do it her way, tell her story, and bring the energy. I bring to y'all tonight Miss Princess Brownfield. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm gonna try to get my technical difficulties. You got it. You got the floor.
Okay, sorry about the technical difficulties. Hey everyone, I'm Princess Brownfield. Yes, the founder of Crown Elevate Project LLC. Where do I start? So I am a active duty Army veteran. I'm also a veteran of being incarcerated after the fact, and I'm also a wellness, health, and life coach. Just a little tad bit about me. You want me to say more?
So you just said that you were you're active Army veteran, right? And you also active time in prison. So, well, with you going to prison the first time, only time, what was that? What was that experience like? Just going in prison, coming from being in the military.
It was hard because I'm already a strong-willed woman. Um, and what I went to prison for was really domestic violence related. It was family related. It had nothing to do with any outsiders. So it was very hard for me to adjust to normalizing criminals
Right.
and being around them and like talking to them because I'm like, no. And they sent me to maximum security because of the training and everything my background of. Actually, I was a military police, to be honest with you. So my background kind of upped my level of what am I capable of, basically. Not because I've done anything that was violent or anything in the past. So that was wrong in itself, sending me there with the most dangerous of women for a domestic violence situation.
So your first day you walked in there, what was your thoughts? First day you walked in there, you seeing all this. I don't know how it was when you went in, but I know when I was in prison, when you walked in, it was like people was waiting on, like you was just the new people, the fresh meat was coming in. It just like all eyes was on the group that came in. What was it like when you walked in their dorm or the however I don't know if it was a dorm or different cells or what?
So
What was that like?
I guess I could talk about coming out of like the intake part of it and walking into the first dorm where it's like I'm in prison. There's not no more safety of being around officers locked in a cell for 5 hours. I'm actually walking around and I'm in there. It was traumatizing. But I was also happy coming from the jail. Like I had to wait at the jail for a little bit, so I was also happy to just like breathe for a second, like be outside. Like when you go to prison, like you're outside all day. Like if you want to be, you can make it. You can be outside all day. So
Hey, so you were just happy just to be out the county jail and go into prison and just to get that outside.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
understand that feeling, and a lot of people understand that feeling, and that's some things that some people may overlook because they think, oh, you sit in the county jail, you ain't getting no outside, you just sitting in this little. I mean, you just not getting no fresh air. Period. Then when you get to prison, you actually get to walk around outside and move more and exercise the way you want to, in a sense, than sitting in this county jail all day, never going outside. So I
Yeah,
definitely
and
understand that.
and to go back to like the comparison to the military and prison, like in itself, like it's a lifestyle once you get in here too. That you're not prepared for. Um, you kind of sign up for the military and you go in and you know you're gonna make your money, so you got to do certain things. But when you go to prison, like you got to do certain things, and nobody's not gonna pay you for it,
Right.
just so you could get out, to see your family. So the dynamic of the lifestyle, like the military, you adapt to that lifestyle, and then in prison, you kind of conform. You gotta get in where you fit in, and it is a lifestyle. People are already doing life there. They already got their own way of moving around, how they want things done, um, where you can go, like what jobs you can have, things like that. So you gotta be able to adapt. In both situations, and I'm happy that I was able to adapt and really elevate myself during that time. Like I had to go from that ugly person, just like when I was in boot camp, to I'm ready to come home and I got to hit the ground all 10 toes.
Right. And so you this your first experience in prison, you know, and it's a shock because you're like, man, I'm in here with like criminals, and I'm I'm in here, I'm no different than them. I'm not gonna get treated any different no matter what. So how did you come about creating the program? When did that phase come in while doing your prison time?
Um, Probably like towards my last year, like my last 2 years or so. It started really like hitting me like I'm going home to all old stuff. I'm going home to nothing. Nothing. I have to get everything, for myself. I have family, of course, but like mentally, I have to get everything for myself. I have to get a place. I already have children, so I have to go back to being a mom again immediately. So all these things are sitting in my head, and I'm seeing the people around me who have life or who've gone home, all the girls on drugs, all that stuff, and I'm just like, they don't even have a clue. At least I had a clue. I already been shooting guns, doing. I already been running around, rapping, trying to save America, and
Right.
I'm here. So I know what it takes to survive on any level, and I think that's when it became like they don't really even know how to survive. Like that's why they keep coming back. I mean, one time these people keep coming back. You see all the people that keep coming back, and you're just like, how do they do this? Like, how do you make this a career? Like a career criminal. How do
Right.
you become that once you get there and you see how it is and you see how they treat you, see how you don't have anything? I don't know. I don't
Right.
know.
So
But
so prior to, so you say you about 2 years away from getting out, about 2 years away about coming home, you know, started thinking like you, because you done seen a lot, in the prior years of people getting coming in and out, coming in, they get out, come back. You probably done seen them 2 or 3 times. You started saying like, I got to be prepared. What was you doing prior to them 2 years? Was you in the prison mix? Like was you in the prison mix prior to them 2 years, and then been like,
yeah,
you know what? I got 3 years to go. It's getting closer to getting home. I got to start getting myself together. Was that the root?
I
Was that
spent
how it
a
went?
ton. I spent a ton of time in the hole. Um, a ton of time, like more probably than a woman at my age at that time should have been in the hole for the long period of time that I was in because I was not compliant. I did not care. People in there, they were trifling. they was doing all types of wild stuff. You know what they be doing? I just didn't have no respect for them, and I couldn't demoralize myself to because there's just a CO or anything. I just never gave it to them. Like I never gave it to that part, and it hurt me a lot in my bed because I spent a lot of time in the hole. Like, but also it helped me because I was able to mentally like grow, and not like break down. Because like in the hole, like you can really turn into a different person. Like it can go either way for you when you be down there for so long.
Exactly. And so when was it? When did it click to where it was like, you know what? I gotta quit doing whole time.
When did it click for what?
For when did it click for you to the point where you know what? I got to stay out the hole. Like I need to quit going to the hole.
Well, that time went up. So they don't tell you that even at the gym. So the time I was adding on time too. Like they wasn't playing with me because I was not a nice person. I'm a beautiful woman, as they say I am, But my mouth and how I feel, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be very direct. I'm going to give it to you raw. And when they had that uniform on, giving it to the raw, like that's the days. That's 30 days. So just little things. Like I never had real problems with inmates at all. Like I really built sisterhoods in there. Also Muslim, so I always had sisters, Muslims around me, uplifting me when I wasn't being a radical, as they call me.
Right. I mean, so that just comes with part of being in prison. Like, who you are inside. I mean, who you are really when you get in prison, it kind of doubles or it kind of grows because now you got this like you got doing this. It's kind of man. Well, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but it's just like you got to be extra protective of self while in the situation that you in. So I'm already bullheaded. So now when I come in here, I'm gonna be more bullheaded in a sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I took
so
that approach.
that's the approach you took.
And I was angry too at that time too. I still had a lot of anger. I was still mad. Like, why am I going to prison? Like, what did I do that's so bad? Like, this is really should be in counseling. Like, this is something that black women, black men experience all the time. Like, just being shortchanged by the system because we have credentials. Like, I feel like if I would have been on crack, they would have just allowed me to go. No matter,
Right.
that's really like I was so angry. Like I couldn't believe this was happening to me. And I think um the person who I was in a domestic violence situation with, he could have said it more better to me when he's like, I'm gonna knock you off your high horse. And you never know you're living on a high horse till somebody knocks you off of it.
Right.
You think you just living your day and doing your best to get by, and somebody done put you on a high horse that they got to knock you off of. So I went in there angry as well, and so all of that just came out, and it was a process. It was a whole process.
And so why? So you said that you felt like if you would been somebody that was going in there smoking on crack or something, they probably would have just let you on out. But that wasn't the case. Do you think the your status played a big part of that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And my disposition too, like my disposition, like I'm not here to be talking to y'all, doing all that. As soon as I learned about that out.
Don't tell me you went through the court process and stuff with like a I'm better than you nonchalant attitude.
I
Tell me
probably I ain't admitting that.
I'm saying it ain't so. Oh,
Say it ain't
that's
so.
why they hit you over your head then. Oh, you think this
Because I just didn't have no respect for the person that was abusing me. The whole process, it was just railroaded. I was in a marine town in a small Virginia court ran by men.
Right.
And I was just being like, looked at like the person that was abusing me like is a jiu-jitsu instructor for the Marine Corps.
Right. And so you
The,
carried all that frustration, that anger into prison,
mm-hmm.
and for it until and all the way up until you had about 2 years left, you was in there expressing and demonstrating with that anger and that
Yep.
frustration and everything.
Yep.
And so it got time to almost close to coming home because you've been adding time though. Every time you go to the hole, you done added some time. You done lost some good time. You done added some more time. What was that mental transition that you had to make as well as just you just didn't say, you know what, I'm gonna do this now because I'm getting close to getting home. Like all them nights in them holes that you done spend in the hole. I done spent so many nights in the hole, and I know you got to wrestle with yourself. So what was it that you was wrestling with while doing all that whole time to where you can come out and say, you know what, I implement. I'm gonna start this business. I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna start helping people, and this is how I'm going to do it. And then you locked in on it. What was that mental transition that you was making in that
Um.
process?
So in the whole, I limited myself to self-help, wellness, motivational, Dacopa, and Oprah magazines. Lots of Oprah magazines. um, Mental health, just reading, studying, taking in every like bit of information and applying it to myself, and then observing other people like in Freudian theory, and applying it to them like on the outside though, looking in,
Right.
and then just like making it into something. I'm like, okay. They started having incentive programs actually. That's what really. In the incentive programs, we were kind of allowed to create stuff, like create classes. They wanted us to have classes all day long, and they didn't have nobody to make them. So the inmates got to make the classes.
Oh wow.
But they had
Okay.
templates and stuff. So from there, it was just like, oh, I could do this. Like I can create a course with no problem, and not have it be where it's like fraud. Like it's my thoughts, my observations, and my knowledge. So I just started putting it on paper. Like the first session in which was Elevate, a women's roundtable experience, which I have now created an e-learning course for that original piece
Okay.
of paper. The original piece of paper is now an e-learning course that I'm going to be distributing to women facilities on this East Coast.
Okay.
But when it originally started, it was just a piece of paper, and it started with, okay, people, the comfort level with the age and women in prison. The older women got all the knowledge, and they don't want to give it to nobody. They're so tight. Like, give it to us. Like, we want the knowledge. Like, do you think we want to be here? I had a Sally, she had been coming to prison since 60,
Oh
since
no. Dang.
1960.
Hey, she was going to prison on horses.
It's 2015. This is my Sally.
Oh wow. Woo.
And she's still coming to prison, still popping and jerking, and I couldn't understand what is going on. Like, but tell me how not to do this is what I really wanted them to talk to me about.
Right.
Like every study that I got, that was like I always like I was the type of inmate, like if I didn't like my study, like I'll throw her stuff out my room, like
You was see,
off the tier.
you was gelling. So you was in there gelling for real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I couldn't live. Like I told you, like first of all, I just wasn't conforming. So either way it go, I'm gonna live as how I choose to in this environment under y'all.
mm,
Whatever y'all gotta say, I'm gonna try to follow y'all rules to the best of what I feel like I'm gonna do. That's how I look
oh,
at
okay.
it.
So those that's just tuning in, just give a short, brief overstory of how we got to this point to you rebuilding, as far as what Crown, what your company's about, as far as you know the whole trips in there, because we got a few people that just tuning in, so I just want to catch them up on where we at.
Okay, so Crown Elevate Project is an all identifying women's mental wellness coaching company that started while I was incarcerated in a maximum security women's prison.
Just that simple, just like that. That's how it starts, though.
That's how it started. It started kind of like me being my worst person and first checking in with myself and then saying like, oh, I know other people need this because I needed it, but I had to get it with myself. Like nobody didn't do it for me. Like I did it with internally. And I'm like, I know it's hard for people to do this, but I already had other training. You know, I'm coming from being a military police officer. They throw me in prison behind domestic violence about my child and the father. So this is just crazy. And then I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and I have to be around women and not my family that I want to be around. And when I come home, what am I going to do? And from looking at Oprah magazine for almost a decade, and other self-help and wellness books, because I did not read any ratchet books, none of that. No, if it wasn't enlightenment, I didn't touch it the whole time, because I had to grow. I was like, I can do this. Like, I can create a course, but I can also be a motivator and a life coach, a wellness coach, somebody that when women have no one else to turn to, they can call my number and I'm going to answer. We're going to get them to the next side of it. So that's what we've been talking about so far.
And so, one thing that just stood out to me was you was talking about the older women never give up the game, and you was talking about how you was like, give us the game. So I don't want to be where you at. Like I don't want to be 70, 50, 60, 70 years old in prison. Like, give us the game on how not to do it. You know, was that always was that a fear of yours that you were going to be in prison? You know, once because you know, seeing people that get caught up in the system, get out and come back. Did you have a fear of that could be you?
Yeah, I have a fear right now because every day test. I have to say this first. Most times when people go to prison, they go to prison and their crime is committed and it's done and they get to move on. With my situation, dealing with domestic violence and living in domestic violence, I'm still living in my situation. I'm still living in my prison sentence right now, even though I'm free and I'm walking. Um, so it's hard. It's
Right.
really hard right now to like separate like everything because I'm still living in my sentence.
Exactly. Because the reason why I asked that because that was one of my fears when I was in prison. Like I went to prison on several different occasions, not just one time, not just two times, at least three or four times. And then one of the things that helped me make a turnaround was that one of the fears of me in prison was I do not want to be 50, 60, 70, 80-year old in prison. Like I'm seeing people that's doing this time like this, and I
Yeah.
just not want to be them. But it's a strong possibility that this is going to happen if I keep continue to living a life and moving how I was moving. So that was one of my fears. And when you said that, I really felt that because that's how I was. Like, show me how not to be doing this stress like this. Like, yeah, I want to know what you didn't do that you should have did. You know, because I feared that I would be 40, 50, 60, 70 years old in prison. I didn't. That was a big fear of mine.
Yeah, it's a big fear now. So I just try to just put everything like so now the anger has turned into motivation. That
Right.
fear, because I am still living in my situation, it's all about Crown Elevate Project. It's all about my ladies and making sure that they're straight. Because as long as I am able to move and motivate, I'm okay. I'm I'm not depressed. I'm not going through nothing because I'm allowing myself to give all that energy in a positive. So,
Right. And so let's talk about Crown Elevated Project. Let's talk about that. Take me through a day of the Crown Elevator Project. Take me through the day of that.
all right. So, Crown Elevate, we, I deal with the most at risk women. I'm trying to get back into the prisons right now. that's the backdrop of this. But due to COVID, it was hard, like talking to people and trying to get people to let me come inside. But right now, I have a couple of things in the making where I'm trying to get inside of the prisons. But we've been in shelters. I go to shelters on the weekends, LGBTQ teen shelters, and family shelters that host women with families, like with kids up to 10 kids in a room with the mother. So between the at-risk side of it, I'm now facilitating a stream of income because, again, like I started this in prison. So when I came home, I had to hit it from the ground, which was volunteering and getting people to believe in me, which is hard. And I know you know
Right.
that.
That's what I was about to say now. And what was that process like, getting people to believe in you?
So Crown Elevate, we're going through the, what is the word, Kendall? Like, we're past, I guess we're at the kind of like funding part of it.
Okay.
So we're past like the startup. We're started up. We're fully licensed, incorporated. Crown Elevate Project is not only a general consulting, but we're a charitable solicitor. So I'm a
Okay.
charitable solicitor instead of being a nonprofit, which cuts out the middleman, and I'm able to keep all the money in house. When I host fundraisers for other people, or when people want me to come and do their events.
Oh wow.
So I was able to find that little natch in there.
Yeah, I was about to say now. I ain't heard too many people pull that move right there. I ain't never heard of that one. I was again, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
like what? Yeah.
So with the consulting and the charitable solicitation, now I'm able to do the grants, crowdfunding, everything. Everything is open to me, and I'm just taking in all the resources. We recently just did 1863 Venture Capital's grant program, and I won. So
Oh, wow.
I was awarded 2 weeks
Congratulations.
ago $5,000 from 1863 Venture Capital. Shout out to Jay-Z and them. Thank you guys, because I really needed that. We got a lot of material and everything. Some merch. Where you guys at over here? So we're right now, I'm just really building this up more. I'm going out, I'm doing pop-ups on a weekly basis. We're doing meet and greets. What else? My daily activity, and because I'm a one woman show right now.
I very much understand, and that's how it is when you first making that transition and getting out and doing and trying to put everything together. Like you learning every aspect of the business, and that's what I liked about it when I got out and started doing it and got into business and with my nonprofit and my LLC. With me just doing it and starting it on my own, I start to learn every aspect of business, which will come in handy later on down the road. I'm pretty sure it will be.
Yeah, and what helped me a lot. So my first week home from prison, I was introduced to Brian Ferguson with the Returning Citizens Office for the mayor of DC, and they had a pilot program at Georgetown for advanced paralegal studies.
Oh wow!
And this is like my first 3 days home. I got introduced to him. He pitched me the program. Like I think you're gonna be a boss in it, and I had to do a essay or something like on Brown versus the Board of Education, but it was due like the next morning, and I had only been home 3 days.
Oh wow!
So I
You
was
came
like,
out into the pressure.
yeah. So it was heat all the way, and but I had somebody believing in me just from me walking in the door, like, and me speaking. And I think that's what also gave me the confidence to like push, like, okay, I'm gonna keep building this step by step, like working it, learning what is business, how am I supposed to move as a coach, as getting into these grants and contracts. Had to do the paralegal, and my mouth is slick.
Right.
So I always wanted to do, from being a cop, now I got to do the paralegal, and I went through the whole process and got accepted into Georgetown paralegal program, and did that with the mayor's office. And it's just been, from the mayor's office, I got a position. They didn't give me anything. I had to apply and do everything, but I got a position with Mr. Gregory Holland at Child and Family Services Agency. So I am the head staff assistant for Child and Family Services Agency of DC, chief administrator after, and this is all within the first 90 days of coming home.
Oh, wow.
I'm back at it.
Not yet. No
Yes,
time, no waste. Why was it important for you to get right back at it once you got out?
Again, it was so important because I'm still living in my domestic violence situation, so I had to rebuild everything and also fight for someone in the process of this. So it's just like I had to be the best person. You know these stereotypes. It doesn't matter. You've been to prison. That's really all they care about. And then I had the gap, in between. I could say PTSD because I did have the military for a good grip of time, but I'm not. So what do I do if I don't make my own lane? What do I do? So I think that was my thinking too. Like, what am I about to do? I'm not about to be on welfare. I'm not about to be working at McDonald's. I'm not like, again, here I go again with I'm not. And I think that's also what keeps me going is I'm not going to settle.
Right. And I'm glad you said it because a lot of people expect when people get out of prison, like you're just supposed to take anything. You're just supposed to settle for less just because you got out of prison. I always tell people, like even the ones I coach, when you get out, just don't accept any of your thing because find something that plays to your strength. Because if you get out and just accept any of your jobs and it doesn't play to any of your strengths, you're going to leave and quit that job within 2-3 weeks. And that's how you always continue to go from job to job, because none of them fits your strength. Like you got out, you was put under, somebody believed in you, they gave you a chance, and you knew you had a mouthpiece, and that played to your strength, and it went up from there. And you refused to say, I'm not just going to settle for a McDonald's job. I'm not just going to settle just for anything because y'all labeling me a felon and I'm getting out of prison. This is what you expect for me to do. I got greater expectations for myself.
Exactly. That's really how it went. And from there, like, pandemic happened. I lost my godmother, like my mom. And seeing her, we couldn't even like hold her casket and we had to go in 5 at a time. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this government. Like, I'm also tired of answering to people too. Like, I know I'm a boss already. Like, why am I still doing this? Like, I'm working full time with the government because they're paying me $60,000 and I'm just getting out of prison. Right. I don't even know how this has happened. This is only Allah.
Right.
I don't even know what's going on, and I'm living in this moment, and it's still not. I'm not really content. And who's the founder of Road to Redemption or the Redemption?
Road to Redemption. You talking about
I think he was on yours.
Oh, you talking about Path to Redemption?
Yeah, Path to Redemption.
You talking about Lester? My brother Lester Young.
Yeah, Lester Young. I think he said it best when he spoke on coming home and not knowing like where. Remember, he was like at the soda machine, like he didn't like.
He was like he didn't know where he was stuck because he didn't know what.
I was like I was at that point like I was stuck. Like I was just moving because it was there. The opportunity was there. But I knew that there was something better. So I left the government October and I fully incorporated this during the pandemic. So even though I was volunteering, it still wasn't a full business yet. And I was like, I'm done. So this is everything that I have right now. An Elevate project, like it's everything that I have, and I've created more outlets to it. So originally, like I said, it was just the initial women's group course, which is the roundtable experience, which is based off mirror image technique. But now that I've got all these certifications and licensing, I'm able to do LGBTQ elevation coaching now. I do trauma enforced coaching. I also offer teen mothers coaching. A teen mothers in poverty coaching, and I do a career elevation coaching. because I think people are scared to say, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Or I don't, oh, I only have a GED. How can I get more? The government hires GED. I don't know if y'all know that, but you don't really need that much credentials to be a grade 5 or a grade 4 and work your way up. But if you don't know these things, you know what I'm saying? So career elevation coaching for my women, I think that was the most important thing for me to get down. So I am certified from Wise Business School at the University of Virginia in personal finance and economics, just so that I can talk to them about financial management and things like that.
Mm. Wow. And
Oh, and
so,
I also offer addiction counseling. Yeah, I do have that counseling, just one counseling certification.
oh, you got out and got on it. It was not a game. It was not,
It
and and that's how it has to be though. When you're really serious and you're trying to build something, like there's no time to sit around and wait. Like when there people always say, "Man, when you got out, you just did so much." Yeah, because this is part of the plan. Like I have no time to waste. Like I got to start getting this in order because at the end of the day, I did not want to be 40, 50, 60, 70 years old inside of prison, or I didn't want to be in prison and I always feel like I do not want to be in prison and it's the end of the world, the end of the time happens, and I gotta sit in the cell like, oh man, I
yes.
can't even do nothing. Like I just gotta sit
Hmm.
here and yeah, that's it. So that was another fear of mine. And so I I see it that you also work with the LGBTQ community, right?
Yes.
Not a lot of people you don't find very you don't find really none at all reentry centers that put emphasis on that community, the community of that. I don't know why, but it's like
Right.
you know it almost seems unwelcoming, because so
I
what is
had
that
to.
like with you putting it out there? I think I'm gonna be honest with you, you might be the first one that I've seen that really put it out there. I mean, just like that, So what was that like? I mean, what is that? How was that?
So remember, I was at a maximum security, and seeing that, like how they treat the women there that identify as like aggressive women or studs or whatever they identify, like the transgender women that they had started allowing to come in the like after 2016. It
Hmm.
They would separate them, like they like women. And like at one point they actually had all the women who were like studs or aggressive in one dorm.
Oh no.
Like they had sectioned them off from everybody. I don't really think people really understand like the trauma like people go
Yeah, that's
through, like
crazy.
just to say like they're LGBTQ. It's so much trauma, but to move forward with that, like that's where my coaching comes in. So in the present moment, them dealing with being able to dress, like how do I dress as being LGBTQ? You come to me, like I'm there to coach you through this process. Certain jobs require you to look a certain way, and you do, regardless of what you identify. You have to adapt. Like that is the key to all of this. Like you coming home after all the time you did, and look at you, like you adapted every way. Same with me. Like it's the adaptation part of it that's going to set the tone.
So what can the people that's tuning in and that will tune in later can find out more information about the Crown Elevate project?
So we're on all streams. We're on Instagram, Crown Elevate Project LLC, Facebook, Crown Elevate Project, LinkedIn. We have our own website, www.crownelevateprojectllc.com. You can find us on Google, search engine, Yelp, at all the big search, Bling. So we're on all the search
And you
engines.
and they got that information if you want to get if they want to book you. Say this they want you to
Yeah,
come in.
so okay, so I got some events coming up that I want to definitely promote. I'll be Saturday at a Black Wall Street pop-up bazaar. It's going to be in Capitol Heights, Maryland from 11 to 5. So I hope you guys come out. And then if you missed that, I'll be out again July 24th at It's a Boss pop-up shop event. That's going to be in Temple Hills, Maryland. So I'll be doing some Maryland events. What else? What else am I doing? Also, I'm going to start going live a little bit more and giving like daily talks and just trying to reach the women more in the mornings on the platforms like Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to try to incorporate that so that way people could talk to me more, because I know I'm kind of like a recluse when it comes to like talking on social media. I'm still getting comfortable with that instead of like talking in person, and I know that's like a big avenue that I'm missing out on. So I want everybody to look for me on there and just comment on things, topics that you guys want to talk about, or any type of suggestions that you have for me. You can always DM me on any platform as well if you don't want to actually go on my website, crownelevateprojectllc.com.
All right. So what's next? In 5 years from now, you can 5 years later you come back and look at this interview and you said, I said I was going to do this within 5 years. What would that be?
5 years, you will hear Crown Elevate in all women facilities as a coaching option to get them ready for the reentry world.
All right. And will it be a host of women that you coach, you got certified once they got released, and that's going to be working this project with you, getting in the prisons? Because you're gonna get them in all these prisons. You're gonna have to have. You can't get in
Yeah,
all of.
so
You
I'm
can't get in all
hoping.
of them.
Listen, you guys. I'm getting CBE certified right now, so that way I can get into these bids, and that way I can hire people, because I know my ladies. I had at one of my pop ups the week before last. She was like, "Are you hiring?" And I was like, it hurt me to say no. Like
Right.
it helped me to say no. But I know, I have a lot of community resources being on the LGBTQ advisory committee here in DC. So I'm able to tell people like, okay, go here, or call somebody like she need a job. So I am also an advocate, and I want to say that too. Like if you go on my website, it's such a lot. It's a lot of options. It's a lot of options, but click on the links and actually utilize the links, because they're resources that you guys could be missing out on. Like I post the most up to date links for housing, for mental wellness, for physical wellness, and for reentry. So if anything that you're looking for when it comes to reentry or physical or mental, you can find that on my website. As well as where I'm going to be. We have the latest news topics, and we have our nonprofit. Oh, I didn't even get to talk about the nonprofit. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Charitable
You
solicitor.
holding out. You holding out.
I
Look at
know it, charitable solicitor part of it, but my All Women Deserve project. Oh my God, my baby that I created at the beginning of this year, which is I want to give out 1,000 undergarment and toiletry items to women that are coming home during this time, COVID time. We have already given out over 300 bags towards our 1,000. So we're moving, we're progressing. We've been able to donate to Thrive DC, and we've been able to donate to Community Family Life Services of DC as well, and to some homeless outreach here in DC and Southwest.
mm,
But we still need donations, you guys. Like we're only 300 bags into 1,000, so that's not enough, and it's about to be July.
and if
So I really
someone wanted to make a donation, where they go to the website, your website.
Yes, if you go on my website, crownelevateprojectllc.com, and hit the link under nonprofit, it'll say All Women Deserve Project, and you can find all the resources as well as our Crown merchandise that we have, like our water bottles and our masks. We got some new shirts in too. Let me show you some new prints
Okay.
for our shirts. And all this fundraising merchandise is on my website under Crown Merchandise.
Um, and another question I have is, explain Crown Elevate.
Crown Elevate Project is me saying that I've done it, like I've crowned myself, and I'm now allowing myself to elevate others. And I had to incorporate it. That's why you see um, the woman in the chair with the crown. Like I'm accomplished enough to give you what I'm trying to give you. And I think that's so important for the women to understand that I'm not talking about anything that I don't know about or that I haven't experienced, even if you're 50 years old and you want my coaching. I'm going to give you exactly what you came to get. Whether it's you need to get out of a funk or you need to understand why your life is not going the right way, I'm the person for you. And that doesn't matter between the age of 13 to 55. That's usually the range of women that I've been working with closely.
Okay. Right. So yeah, Crown Elevate. So
Yes,
if somebody getting out right now, your customer avatar is somebody getting out of prison right now that fits your program, and they happen to look on this video tonight or something, or whenever I post it, and it's something that you could tell them today. They just got out today. It was something that you can tell them today. What would you
I would
tell them?
tell them. I would tell them today is absolutely what it is today. But tomorrow, when you wake up, the opportunity is there if you want it. It's 100% there. Where I'm at right now only came from opportunities, and I can't be more clear in that. Like, people really gave me opportunities and seeing my record and seeing what I've been through and said, it doesn't matter. Like, your character, how you present yourself. And also, that's another thing, how you present yourself. When you wake up tomorrow, you came home today, but when you wake up tomorrow, whatever piece of clothing that you have, put on your best. Put on your best when you go out. And don't tell anyone tomorrow that you came home yesterday. Don't. It's not needed. Don't even talk about it. I don't promote my women that I coach to talk about if they come or when they're getting out to talk about being incarcerated, because I feel like it's like a clutch. I
Mm,
have people that I told, they're like, "Oh, I can't do this because I was incarcerated." I'm like, "That's a lie." And it's
right.
like it becomes an argument because you genuinely know, like, it's a lie, like it, because they're not applying themselves, like it's a lie.
Exactly.
We see the most career criminals come out and work in the most highest positions and build their brands and do other things. So we know it doesn't matter what crime you committed. It's just when you get out, how you apply yourself and utilize your resources. So make sure you get dressed up because this is a new day. I'll also tell them that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. So I ask the same question on every episode.
Okay.
Question is one word to describe the journey. What would it be?
What road describes
One word that describes the journey so far. What would it be?
elevating?
Mm, elevating. Oh. And why elevating?
Because elevation is a process, and it's been a process, so it has to be elevating. Because I'm not going downhill, even in spite of the journey. I'm not going downhill. I'm elevating. So definitely elevating.
It's only right to be elevating, Crown Elevate Project, all the
Yeah.
work that you're doing, how you got out and got to it. That's elevation to get to where you at today and you're still growing. We just talked about what we see in 5 years. That's part of the elevation. We appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, sharing your knowledge, sharing your business with us.
Thank you.
Please let us know again where we can reach you at, where we can find you at, website, social media handles, and everything.
Okay, again, you can find me at www.crownelevateprojectllc.com on Google, any search engine. Also, we got the social media, Instagram, Crown Elevate Project LLC. Everything is Crown Elevate Project, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Once you get on there, you can find all the tabs to donate, to see where I'm going to be at. If you want to come out and actually talk to me in person, I will be out all summer long doing all types of pop-up bazaars and meet and greets.
All right. There we have it. Once again, thanks a lot for coming on, being the guest. sharing everything that you share with us. Stay in tune with it. Join our group, post your information in the group and everything, and let's connect and let's do some work out here. Let's continue to build, grow, and reach out to one another. Thanks a lot again. And for everyone that tuned in, thanks for tuning in. It's another episode of the Reentry Journey. I'm Cardell Sims. I'd like to thank our guest, Miss Princess Brownfield, the founder of Crown Elevated Project LLC. Thanks again for being a great guest and coming on and taking your time and speak with us and sharing everything that you shared. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. You have a great night.
You too.
All right.